I can.
Hey, neighbor.
Before anyone gets on, I want to let you know we had a break-in last night
You?
at our house. Yeah, but it was an inside job. We think that one of the roofers who had a key to our house because had to come through the side, through the First Street entrance. We think someone from that group, or they gave it to someone because we were gone for like 2.5 hours. They got in from First Street. Nothing was broken. No, we couldn't figure out how they got in. And then it dawned on me that they had a key. They didn't hardly took anything. It was just upsetting that they got in the house.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we didn't have the alarm on, which is stupid. So, I just want to let you know, if you hear anything, it has nothing to do with people prowling the area. We're pretty sure it was an inside job.
I think most of this is inside jobs. Anybody, I mean, we all have so many people that service us, whether it's dry cleaners or
Yeah.
maids or gardeners or, and I
Oh,
generally don't
100%.
think anything of it, but
Yeah, yeah. C'est la vie, as they say in French.
good thing you weren't home.
Yeah, yeah. And someone said you're lucky they had a key because if they wanted to get in, they would have broken a window. Sometimes they're so obsessed about getting in. Whatever. It is what it is. It wasn't much. It's just upsetting that someone was in the house.
Don't keep anything at home anymore.
We don't. I kept all my pledges in Rancho Mirage.
I don't know what they're really looking for. Cash, jewelry.
Okay, so Yossi Khan told me he spoke with the cops because he's been robbed a couple of times. Three things: cash, jewelry, guns. That's what they want.
I don't even have cash in my wallet. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're Apple Pay.
Seriously. I seriously, I go through $200 of cash every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tzedakah money. It's like nothing.
And guns, I mean, God, I hope people don't keep their guns loose in the house. But
I don't have any guns. I have bear spray.
Oh, you do?
I figure gun, if I shoot someone, I'm going to go to jail, so it's not worth it.
No, yeah,
Number two is that most likely I end up shooting someone or myself. You know what I mean? So I figure bear spray is better.
It must work because I haven't seen a bear near your house at all, ever.
It works.
It works.
It works. You should get something. You can't order it on Amazon. They won't ship it to California. But I ordered it from the Big Bass Shop, that store.
Oh, yeah.
They'll ship you anything. You want a grenade, they'll ship it to you.
See, where are we holding? 33?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm on the block. I had a lot of time on the plane, so I'm there.
Lamed Gimel. Razvid Mishmei Rabba Masin Loaha. It says in the pasuk by Golus, V'nashal habarzel min ha'etz. The blade fell off the axe. Umatsa et re'eyu v'meit, and it found another person. Prat lemansi et atzma. That excludes the case where the guy, let's say, lifted his head and then the blade hit his head. It means if he caused it to hit him, then the guy does not go to Golus. That's like an onus. He threw a stone. And some guy who was hiding behind something lifted his head. The kibla, potur. That's just an accident. And there's no golus. You don't go to golus, but if you damaged him, you pay the arbit vorim. The one who learns this halacha of Rav Yossi here, so certainly kosher can akamoisa. yesterday we talked about a case where you walk into a carpenter's store where we said the carpenter's chayiv. The one who learned this definition on the carpenter store here, it would be a complete accident and you wouldn't be chayiv anything. You certainly would not be chayiv golos. Workers come to the balabais' house to get paid. The ox of the balabais gored them, or v'nashchan kalbashal balabais, or the dog of the balabais bit them, umeis, potur. The balabais is potur. Acherim oimrim, rishayin po'alim litvos schar balabais. Workers are allowed to come demand their wages, and therefore they went in with permission. And therefore the balabais would be chayiv. Hechidami. What exactly is the case? If the employers in the city, maitamayu the acherim. Why would acherim who said they certainly could meet up with the employer in the city to demand their payment. And they don't have to go into his chutzner at all. And either shchiach rak babayis, if the babayis can only be found at home, my time to Tanakama that's potter. I mean, they can demand their wages. Lo tzricha begavra de shchiach v'lo shchiach. He's sometimes in the house and sometimes he's not. V'kori ababa, and the workers knocked on the door. V'amar lahu in, and he said in. Mar savar in means ol tomash, means come in. And he gave them rishus to come in. That's why that mandomer says you're chayiv. Mar savar in means kuma duchtich masha, means stay where you are, and I'll come out to you. And they don't have rishus to come in, and therefore you will be potter. Tanya Kimanda Amar in Kuma Duchtich Mashma. I'm going to bring you a baraisa to support the shita that in means stay where you are. The Tanya. Poil shenichnas lidvos chomi balabais. A worker went in to the balabais' house to collect payment. The nachol shosh balabais or nashul kel. Ox gored or a dog bit him. Potter, the balabais, is potter from responsibility. Even though that he had permission to go in. Am I potter? Why, if the balabais gave him permission, why would the balabais be potter? Elalav the Korea Baba. We're talking about he was at the door, the armorly in, which didn't mean come in, it meant stay where you are. And that's why in this brisa he's potter. Mishnah. Shnei shvorin tamin shechavlu zetzeh. You have two oxen that never gored, and they damaged each other. Mishalmin b'moiser chatzi nezek. So a tam pays chatzi nezek. So you assess the damage. If one guy got damaged, $50 worth of damage, and the other $100 worth of damage, so the one who did more damage pays half the nezek, pays $25. Shnei muadim. If both oxen were muad, misham b'moiser nezek shom, you pay the full amount. Echad tam v'echad muad. So, if the muad did more damage than the tam, misham b'moiser nezek shalim, like a muad. If the tam damaged the muad more. Mishalim b'moiser chatzi nezek. The same applies. Two people injured each other. If this guy is damaged $50, the other guy's $100, so the guy who damaged more has to pay the full $50 difference. Adam b'muad. If a human being damaged an ox that was a muad, and at that time, the ox damaged the man, right? Muad b'adam. You calculate the difference, Mishlam b'moiser nezek shalim, because Adam muad and Shor muad both pay nezek shalim. If an Adam b'tam b'adam, human being damaged an ox tom, and the ox tom damaged the human being, Adam b'tam Mishlam b'moiser nezek shalim, and Adam Amazik always is muad, and therefore pays nezek shalim. If the tam did more damage to the Adam, Mishlam b'moiser chatzi nezek. Rabbi Kiva Oimer af tam shechavu b'Adam Mishlam b'moiser nezek shalim. Rabbi Kiva says that a tam, there's no difference when a shore damages a human being. There's no difference between a tam and muad. They both pay nezek shalim. Says Oben Yigach Obas Yigach. Kamishpat hazeh yaselo. Kamishpat shor b'shor kach mishpat shor b'adam. When a shore damages another shore, it's the same din when a shore damages a person. Ma shor b'shor tam mishlam chatzi nezek. Umuad nezek shalem. An animal that never gored pays half. Animal would pays shalem. Af shor b'adam tam mishalem chatzi nezek. If a shore damages a person, the tam pays chatzi nezek. Umuad nezek shalem. Rabbi Kiva Omer kamishpat hazeh ketachton. The immediate parsha deals with the muad, the lo ke'elyon, not like the previous one that was above it, which is a tam. So that's why, according to Rabbi Kiva, you always pay nezek shalom. Now, when a shore muad pays, you don't just pay from the goof of the shore. You pay from his assets. Yachol mishalem in aliyah. Tamador yaselo. Migufu mishalem v'mishalem ben aliyah. You still only pay from the goof of the shore that did the damage. V'rabonon. What do they learn from Hazeh? Lamali lepotra marbet vorm. Even though you pay for the nezek, you don't pay for the arbet vorm. When the shore does damage to the man. Rabbi Kiva lepotra marbet vorm enole. How does Rabbi Kiva learn that there's a patur for damages to the human being? Nafkale ish ki yitemun bamito. Ish bamito is chayiv to pay the arbet vorm. V'lo shor bamito. I've Rabbanon, why don't they learn from there? Maybe pain you don't pay. But medical bills and disability, maybe you would pay. Well, you don't pay anything. Shor shavamona, a short tam that's worth $100. Shanagach shor shavamosan, that gored a shore worth 200. And Vena Nevela Yafa Klum, the corpse of the dead shore is not worth anything. Noitel et ashore, the one who got damaged takes the shore amazik, because he lost out 200. So he gets paid chatzi nezek because it's a tam, and that tam is worth 100. So he takes the whole animal. and that pays his debt. Masisin Mani, to Rabbi Kiva the Tanya. Yusam Ashar Bevezdin to Rabbi Shmuel. After an animal does damage, you have to take it to Bezdin to estimate its value. To Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Kiva Amar Hochlet Ashor. You don't have to go to Bezdin. If everybody agrees regarding what the damage is, and the nizik can take the shore right away. But my become iflagi. Rav Yishmael Sovar Bal Chov. The one who got damaged is a creditor of the mazik. The zuzi who the mazik, and he's demanding money, but he doesn't really have ownership in the gufa shore. Rabbi Kiva Shavar Strutfininu. From the time of the damage, the nizik becomes a partner of the mazik in the goof of the shore. The kemiflagi b'haikra. They're arguing in the interpretation of the pasuk. Umachros ashor hachai. You sell the live shore. V'chitzu is kaspo. Rabbi Shmuel Savar lebeidina kamaz rachmana. The pasuk is directed to Bezdin, how they have to assess the damages. Rabbi Kiva Savar l'nizik u'mazik muzul rachmana. To the one who got damaged and the mazik, the Torah is speaking, and there's no Bezdin. Might be now what comes out to be the practical difference, if they're shutuf or not. Whether the guy who was damaged was magdish, higdish, niziko, ikibinayu. According to Rabbi Shmuel, the nizik doesn't have any ownership yet in the shore, so if he's magdish, nothing happens. According to Rabbi Kiva, that from the time of the damage, he becomes a partner in the goof of the animal. He can be magdish his share of it. Boimene Rav and Rav Nachman. Machro mazik Rabbi Shmuel Mao. The mazik whose shore gored and whose shore is needed to pay the debt goes ahead and sells it. Kivan Shomar Yisrael Balchovu. The nizik is really just a creditor. He's not, has no shaykhis in the animal. The zuzi who the masik. All he wants is money. So machur. So if the mazik went out and sold it, it's sold. Oy dilma, kiva the mishabed leila nizik lav kol kamini. But there's certainly a lien on the animal to pay a debt, and even from the shore, if he doesn't have money, so maybe we'd say he doesn't have the ability to sell it. Amarle ein machu. Rav Nachman said it's not a good sale. So Rava asked the question about Tanya. Machru machur. I have a price that says it is a sale. Yeah, but choizer v'goveyu. But the guy who was damaged can go to the person who bought it from the mazik and take it back. The chimeacher shechozer v'goveyu. Lema machur. If the nizik can go and take it from the guy who bought it from the mazik, in what way does it mean that it's sold? Because it really was not a mechira. So l'ridia, if the guy who bought it needed it for plowing and he plowed until it's taken back by the nizik in payment of the debt, he was allowed to do it. And the nizik can't demand, money payment for the fact that the guy, the koine, used that ox to plow. And therefore, from here, do we learn Shema Minah, Sheloive, Umocher Metaltalin? The guy borrows money, and then he sells his Metaltalin. Based in Goivenlo, that Basin can go and collect from the people who bought Metaltalin to pay the Malva back, ma'am? So no, shiny Hossam by Shor Mazik, the Kiman Shasa Apoitiki. It's mainly the ox becomes like a mashkon that from here you're going to collect the payment. So the shore is meshubit to the repayment of the debt. By other metatlin, it hasn't been designated as any repayment. So he's allowed to sell that. Let's say a person borrowed money and he designated one of the avodim as the shibud, like the collateral. He went ahead machro, balchov koivim. Whoever bought the eved, the one who loan the money can go and get the eved. But if the borrower made his shoro apotiku machro, if you appointed the ox and he sold it, ein balchov gove. The guy who loaned money doesn't have the right to be goive from that shore, which seems to be different. That the shore mazik, even though he was made an appointed key, the one who was damaged can go and collect it from people who bought it. So, Evid my time. Why is the lender allowed to go? If the borrower sold off the Evid, the lender can go right away and take the Evid from the guy who bought it. Mishum dislay kola. Avodim, there was people heard about it. And the guy should have known better to buy the Evid. So the Gemara says, Hainami kiven shenagach. This shore is a goring, kola islahu. The Torah nachana korelay. So the kohen should realize that there was a shibud because it's a goring shore. It might be needed to pay back the damages. Tani Rav Tachliva Bar Marav, Kamed Rav Avo. In Machro, if the mazik sells the shore, ain't a mach. But in Higdisho Mugdish, Machro man, who sold it here? Ilay ma mazik. So Machro ain't a machur. Who says the sale's not a sale? Mani Rabbi Kiva Yi, because he said Hochlat Ashore. He goes immediately to the nizik. But later on it says Higdisho Mugdish. Well, Ason Rabbi Shmuel. Shama Yusam Ashor Beveistin, who said that we wait for Besdin to step in. Meanwhile, it belongs to the mazik. He can do what he wants with it. So how can you say half of the Mishnah is Rabbi Kiva, half is Rabbi Shmuel? So Ella Nizik, we're talking about who sold it? The Nizik, the one who was damaged. So Machro ain't a Machro. When we say it's not a good sale, Mani, Rabbi Shmuel, because the Nizik doesn't get the shore right away when it did damage. So then later on, when it says Higdish Mugdish, and it is Hagdish, Asan Rabbi Kiva, who says that the guy has a right to be Magdish. So our Baraisa is not like any of the Shittas. So La'olam, we're talking about the Mazik who's involved in selling or being Magdish. V'divrei hakol. And it's according to both Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel. Machru ain't a machru. It's not a sale. I feel Rabbi Shmuel. Damishab Leila Nizik. It's meshubed. The shore is meshubed to the Nizik, and he can't sell it. But in Mikdisha Mukdish, I feel Rabbi Kiva. It should Ravavo, Shem Ravavo. If a person has something where there's a shibud, even though we say he can't do it, we force him to redeem it from Hegdish. People will see people taking out of Hegdish, and they'll think you can take it out of Hegdish without redeeming it. Ton Rabbona. Short time shehizik, a short time that did damage. Achlo Amad Bedin, if there was no Amad Bedin in Beis Din, Machro, if the Mazik sells it, Machro. It's a good sale. Higdisho Mugdish. If he magdish it, it's good. Shachto uneson b'matana, masha aso asui. That's all before Amud B'din. Misha Amud B'din. Now he is chayiv to pay the nizik. Then he can't sell it. Machro ein a machro. Hikdisha ein a mukdush. Shachto v'nos matana loss of laklub. Kidmu balei choyvos. Let's say the guy had creditors. And his creditors came and took the ox as payment. Bein chav, whether he made himself indebted achlo before the animal gored, or bein huzik achlo chav, or whether it did damage and only afterwards he borrowed. In either case, loss of laklu. Lefi she'ein mishtalem ela migufo. The nizik has to be paid from the goof of the shore, and therefore there's a shibud. However, mu'id shehizik, bein sha'amad, because remember, a mu'id, the payment comes from the person's private assets, not from the goof. So therefore, bein sha'amad bedin, bein shalom bedin, im machro machro, you can do whatever you want with the animal. Im igdishu mugdish, im shachtu v'nostu matana mashas asa. Kidu balei choyves figbiu, if he had creditors and they took the shore, bein chav ad shlo hizik, bein hizik ad shlo chav, it doesn't make a difference when the damage occurred, when the loan occurred. Mashasa asli. The fishay mishtam elaben aliyah. He pays from his regular assets, not from the shore at all. Amar, we said though that if a tam does damage, machro machor, it's a good sale. When in the case of l'ridia, if somebody bought it to plow with it until the nizik collects it in payment for his damages, the koine can do whatever he wants with it. When we say hekdisha mugdish, it's not really that it becomes hekdish. Rather, mishum dam ravavohu, you can't take it away from hekdish without giving opinion for it. Shachtu v'nosu matana machasa asu. If he shechted, he gave it a gift, you can't take it back. Bishman nasu matana machasa asu. Ela shachtoi. Why should the nizik lose out? Let him pay from the meat. The Tanya. Umachro sashor achai. Chai. Only elachai. Shachto minayin that you can use it to pay. Talmud lemer. Umachro es ashor. Mikol makom. Even if it's dead. Amrav shizbi lo nitzchel l'pchashchita. The reduction in the value, the depreciation of value of the animal when you shecht it. If the depreciation is such that it doesn't cover the cost of the nezek, the nizik can't collect more than what the shore is worth. Or Ravuna Braid Rav Yoshua is also meres. Hamazik shibudo shel chavero. I do damage to some kind of property of my friend, which is a mashkon for some debt he has. Patur. The Baal HaShibud only has the schus on that piece of property. It's not really his. So pshita, it's a davar pashut. Ma'od is same hasam. Maybe it's the same thing when you shech the animal. Hu da amar lolochas artich v'lamidi. Da amar le'zika ba'amal hudashak minech. I took the life away from it, but I didn't change the goof of the shore. Aval ba'alma, if I damage some other type of property, maybe l'chayit. Kamash blundet, no. So hanami rabba amra sha'amar rabba soiriv sh'tarasu shel chaveru. Person has a bunch of IOUs. The people owe him money, and I burn them up. Patu. Even though his friend doesn't have the IOUs to collect money. Ma'od the same ahasam who to Amr Lay, the guy who burnt up the stars can say to the owner of the stars, I burnt up paper. I'll pay you the value of the paper. If my neighbor had a field that was meshubit for a loan, and I went into the field and I dug boirish shichnim ares, I dug ditches there, which was a physical damage, l'chayiv, I might think that I have to pay the owner of the shibud, the one who has a shibud on the land. He's not really the owner, he just has a shibud, kamash malon, that he's potter. The hahacha, when you shech the ox, command the chafarba, it's like I dug ditches in a piece of land, because it's a physical damage that you see, not like burning up stories. The ka'amar mashasa asui, what is done was done. Kidmu balei choyves v'ikbiyu, guy had the Baal Choiv came to collect this property, which is supposed to be used to pay off the damage. We don't care when it occurred. Loss of a klum. We reverse what the Baal Choiv took. Because the nezek has to be paid from the goof of the animal. So that's good. The damage was done already. Then he paid a debt. The debtors are coming. And Nizak and Kidmu. So there's a shibud first on the shore by the nizik. But Aval Chav, if he borrowed the money, Achlo Hizik. So Baal Choiv caught him. So why wouldn't the Baal Choiv have a prior shibud on the cow? And I feel, okay, we'll continue this tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll learn at 7:30.
It's a very good kasha, that last kasha.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we'll answer it tomorrow.
Okay, shkoyach.
Look, we're going to, I'll call back
8.
at 8.